Have you thought about your 2023 leasing arrangements or your agreements? Well, now's the time. Welcome to the Post Rock Extension District. I'm Sandra Wick, the crop production agent with the Post Rock Extension District and K-State Research and Extension. We also have Will here.
My name is Blair Todd. I'm the livestock production agent for the Post Rock District.
Okay, we recently compiled the responses from our Post Rock District Lease survey, and we just wanted to share some highlights with you from the data, from the responses that we received. About 80 to 90% of farmland and pasture land is rented and tends to be increasing around the state. So this is our 12th year actually for conducting our Post Rock District Leasing Arrangement Survey, and we would like to thank all the respondents for participating. Without your input, this would not be possible to provide the producers of North Central Kansas and for the state of Kansas. So there are 4 components to our leasing survey, which included cropland, pasture, crop residue, and recreational leasing or hunting. So it was conducted by email and mailing out paper copies as well. So we randomly selected between 75 and 85 tenants and landowners in each of the counties of Jewell, Lincoln, Mitchell, Osborne, and Smith to obtain a representative sample around our district. So our return rate for the 2022 leasing arrangement survey was between 16% and up to 34%. So we are very pleased with the return rates. So let's start with the average data for the Post Rock Extension District on the crop side, specifically the cash rental rates. So if you are wanting specific data or averages for each of the specific counties in our district, they will be posted on our Post Rock District webpage under the crops and the livestock tabs, which you go on the left-hand side of our main page. So for our dryland average cash rent, it came up with $70 per acre with a range of $20 up to $130 between all of the 5 counties in our district. We do have some irrigated data, but for only some of the counties, as there wasn't quite enough information to put that published in our survey. So on the crop share side, with corn, grain sorghum, soybeans, and wheat, the predominant share was the traditional 1/3 and 2/3, with about 75 to 80% of the respondents with that share. So then there were about 20 to 25% using the either 40-60% share or even 25 and 75 with the new kind of arrangement of the net share arrangement or leasing. So the main point is for both parties, the tenant and the landlord, to come up with an equitable share depending on the inputs and things that each party puts in. Our survey also indicated a sharing cost of the fertilizer, herbicide, and the insecticide between the landlord and the tenant. A general rule for sharing inputs would be any yield increasing input for the crop is usually shared between the landlord and the tenant.
So now we're going to move on to the livestock side of the leasing survey, and we'll get started with pasture. The average pasture rent for the district was at $26 an acre with a range of $9 to $50 an acre, with the predominant grazing time being from May to November. The pasture stocking rate was generally 8 acres per pair with a range from 7 to 14 acres per pair, and that just depended from year to year depending on rainfall received, which we didn't really necessarily see a lot of that this last year. So for the crop residue grazing rates, average rental rate for crop residue was $10 an acre with a range of $5 to $20 an acre, depending on amount of residue, fencing, and of course water availability. And they usually graze for about 3 months, which provides some much needed feed for our livestock after experiencing a drought. So that's it with the highlights. If you want complete copies of the reports for each county along with our Post Rock District Summary Report, you can visit our website, as Sandra said, at postrock.ksu.edu or stop in at any of our offices.
Alrighty, thanks Blair. And another important aspect of leasing arrangements is the date for the notification or termination of a lease if that happens to occur in your particular situation. So this D-Day actually, or the important date, is January 29th or 30 days prior to March 1. So leases can be written or they can be oral. Written leases are generally 3 to 5 years, whereas oral leases can only be enforceable for the 1 year. So our Post Rock Extension District is only one resource for these leasing arrangements and rates that we've shared with you. So there are a couple of other resources that are available either online, or you can pick up paper copies at any of our Post Rock Extension District offices.
As always, you can call any of our Post Rock District offices in Beloit, Lincoln, Mankato, Osborne, or Smith Center. And remember to like our Facebook page. And we're also on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And we have several educational programs going on this winter. You can find those listed on our events page on our website. And sign up for our weekly Ag News Roundup. We distribute that every Friday to get recent news and events that we have going on in the district. This has been Blair Todd and Sandra Wick, and we will see you out in the field.